Aloha. Good evening. This is Andrew Aloha live out of Flagstaff, Arizona. The Spiritual Image Productions on Facebook Live. So, wow, this is going to be interesting. That's all I got to say. Oh my God, that Trump. I don't know what's going on inside that head of his, but I think that man is PTSD. That's what I think. Oh my God. Oh. So he's declaring a national emergency, or maybe state of emergency. I don't know, one or the other, or both, I guess. And yeah, and if you go back to my records, to my YouTube video for the Golden Age Prediction Show, that's exactly what I said. This whole saga wasn't going to end to the first week of March. In the first week of March, after the first week of March, then if Trump hasn't figured it out by then, man, I think he's going to be kicked out of office. I think that's what's going to happen, man. No offense, nothing personal, but you know, if you can't stand the heat, then stay out of the kitchen. That's the way it goes. And I'm not sure if this guy is thinking straight or not, man. I mean, I think he's heavily. I mean, I looked at one of his pictures earlier, a picture of him, and you look at it, you can see it in his eyes, man. That dude is scared. I'm pretty sure of it. So I think this was a much more of a responsibility than he was shooting for or aiming at. I think there's a lot of people that are saying that he wasn't even planning on winning the presidency. He was just running for the hell of it or something. I don't know what the deal was. So it's going to be interesting to see all this go down. Wow, that dude has got some kind of nerve. I don't know. So and again, that the wall is only serving to separate the United States from Mexico. And when you're talking about separation, anytime anything has to do with separation, then that's not a godly action. It's an ungodly action. So separation usually has to do with the ungodliness. So and then unifying, coming together as one. That's all godly actions there. So anyhow, we'll see what happens. But today it's been cold here in Flagstaff. It's funny because I talk to some people and they go, "Yeah, it looks like the winter's over with in Flagstaff. It snowed last night." What are they, funny? The winter won't officially be over till maybe May, if not April, but probably around April, maybe next month spring will kick in, but the winter may not be over till officially till April. So we'll see what happens. And I hope I'm assuming that you guys in the East Coast are doing well. There hasn't been a lot of news stuff going on about the snow and about the storms in the East Coast. So I'm assuming you guys are taking care of yourselves, taking care of each other, and working with whatever you got out there. So good job. In the meantime, I want to go ahead and do some reviews, some movie reviews. The 100-Foot Journey. Oh my God, that was. Oops, what happened? That was the second time I watched that movie, and it's a good movie. I think I told you last week, that I was getting ready to watch it for the second time, and I wasn't disappointed. Like I said, most of the time I can hardly watch a movie more than once. I mean, maybe if but this movie was worth watching again, which means it's a good movie. Especially if you get into the culinary arts, cooking shows and stuff. It's a good movie to watch. It's a fun movie. Um, this is a good part for Helen Mirren, and so it was pretty interesting. The East Indian people moved. I think they moved from England to France or somewhere. I don't know what the deal is, but they move across the street from Helen Mirren and her restaurants, and they they the young guy, the young one of the younger kids or guys in the family, he's like a really good cook. The mom shows him how to really enjoy cooking, appreciate cooking for what it is instead of just throwing food out there, right? So he really gets the inherits her finesse, her art, her gourmet cooking style. And so anyhow, I'm not gonna give you the whole storyline, but it's a really interesting movie to watch, and I think very worthwhile. Now the other movie that I watched was Legally Blonde #2. I actually watched the first one, and that movie was pretty funny. If you want some comedy, something to laugh at, a good reason to laugh, throw it on there. Again, all these movies are on Netflix that I watched. So, and they give me skim, not much out there to watch, but if you look around, you can find some movies that are reasonably worthwhile watching. So that was a pretty good funny movie for Reese Witherspoon, Withery, and Luke Wilson, Sally Field, Regina King, and then the 100-Foot Journey, Helen Mirren, Om Puri, Manish Dayal. He's the one that he becomes the star chef, and then Charlotte Lavon, a French actress. I think she's out of Canada. Is also in it, and just a really nice, well-rounded out movie. And then Legally Blonde. Legally Blonde #2 was pretty funny. I gotta say. It did. I watched the first one, and I think the first one I think I liked anyhow. And then usually when a movie comes out with a second sequel or whatever, they're not as good as the first. But this one, Legally Blonde #2, but I can't remember the first one of what it was like, but this one was pretty funny. So if you want to barrel laughs, go watch Legally Blonde #2, and then Chasing Amy. Oh, that's right. Ben Affleck and Joey Lauren Adams. That was a very interesting movie. It was funny, but it was also interesting in that Ben he's supposed to be Joe Stud, and he hits on this woman, and turns out she's a lesbian, right? And but then towards the end, he really let me see, how do you want to put it? He really ended up the character, I guess. The character ended up being really stupid because he said a bunch of stuff that was really stupid. And this was like a typical stereotypical Joe Schmo that's not very conscious about women and about people and about men as well. And so he goes and mouths off a bunch of stuff that's bullshit. And even though he ends up with Joey, Joey's character, the lesbian woman, even though he ends up getting the girl. In the very end, he ends up screwing up. It's a Sagittarius moment. Let's put it that way. Sagittarians are notoriously known to screw up a good thing, and they end up becoming the wounded healer. That's how they learn how to heal other people, help other people heal. It's going through a bunch of crap themselves, and then they learn how to deal with it, and then they teach other people how to deal with it. So, but anyhow, this was a Sagittarius moment. This guy screws up the whole relationship and ends up having to throw it. It all gets broken apart. In the very end, they revisit with each other, but it's too late. He done did the do and did the damage and screwed up the whole program. So it was like that. So anyhow, that it was a show, and I mean it's an interesting movie to watch. So now personal shopper with Christian Stewart. Yeah, they do some nudie shots of Christian Stewart. Big deal. Blah blah blah. And she's supposed to be a psychic medium. Her twin brother is a psychic medium. He gets killed somehow, and he's supposed to reach out to her and connect with her on the other side from the spirit world. And you know, I don't even think that the people that wrote the story even knew what a psychic medium was. It was like a stupid movie, but it was and then the special effects they did were it was just it was shit. I didn't even watch the whole movie. I just couldn't because it was so stupid. So I just fast forward and watched some parts of it, and it was a lame movie, but that's besides the point. Now, The Graduate, 1967 Graduate, with Dustin Hoffman, Catherine Ross, and Anne Bancroft. Hello, Mrs. Robinson. Yeah. So anyhow, that was interesting. You know, I thought I had watched The Graduate over the years, and I never have. I never have until a few days ago. And it's a lot different storyline than I thought it was going to be. I don't know why, but it was a lot different than I thought it. But you know, it was interesting to watch that movie just because of the environment, the ambience in the movie. You know, there was no phones that people were on all the time, texting. The technology. You don't even see technology there hardly at all, which was amazing. And back in the day, in those days, they had music playing in the background through scenes. Not like today. They have everything is action packed and all kinds of stuff going on. Excuse me, but anyhow, in this day and age, everything it's like 5-second shots. If you watch a movie these days, unless it's like there's a lot of action going on, then the shots are like every 5 seconds there's a different shot going on. You can't hardly sit and enjoy and breathe in and imbibe the movie because they're so busy trying to get every shot. What's wrong with these people? Like, what are they, idiots? So, and that's why people have such a short attention span. They're always watching movies, all these movies with all these shots, like millions of shots in one movie. And instead of taking your time and imbibing a whole scene and taking 10, 15, 20 seconds per scene, per shot, back in the day, they had to do a lot of acting. I mean, there was acting going on, really. There was a whole scene that was shot, and the whole scene, one shot would be 10, 15 seconds long, would be a monologue that would be 10, 15, 20 seconds long, 30, 35 seconds long. And this day and age, a monologue might last 5 seconds, and that's it. Oh, how do you do? Oh, okay. Oh, come on. Really? They have acting going on in this day and age? Come on. Whatever. But that was because they didn't have all that technology going on. Back in the day, they didn't have to compete with phones and lighting technology, cars, fast-moving cars. You jump in a car and you take your time to start it and get going and take off. The scenes are just so they last. And not only that, but they had music in the background to support the shots. Whatever. I don't know, but it was just much. And if you watch this movie, The Graduate, it's just so much more interesting to watch that movie, and because people, the pace of the whole show is so much more calmer and peaceful and longer and just chill, and even even the violence that's going on, or the I don't know what you want to call it, the actions that are really a high energy are calm, peaceful. They're just like, oh, you really, yeah, why are you taking your clothes off, Miss Robinson? I don't think I can stay. I have to go. I have to go home now. See you later. It's just the movie is just so much more calm and peaceful than most of the movies I've ever watched out there. It's amazing. It was just really interesting to watch, see all that transpire, and which is amazing to watch that. And then on top of that, now, and it was interesting because Miss Robinson claims that he's raped by this guy, like Dustin Hoffman, a Me Too moment, and yet it's like a lot of stories, a lot of stuff going on today. He never raped her. You see it in the movie. You see all the action going on. He never raped her, and so she's claiming that he that he raped her. And it's interesting to note that back in 1967, there's stuff going on today that's very much the same thing, same type of action going on. It's really interesting. It's pretty wild how some things just never seem to change. I don't know. But it was just wild. So anyhow, that's on Netflix right now. If you have Netflix, and I would recommend watching it. It was just interesting to note. You can just sit down and calmly watch a movie just transpire. It was just interesting. Now the next movie that I watched, one of the next movies that I watched was Cold Mountain, with Nicole Kidman, Jude Law, and Renee Zellweger. So that was the Civil War going on, and this movie was back in 2003, but that was about the Civil War. And it was it was amazing that Jude Law and Nicole Kidman have the hots for they have the hots for each other, right? At the beginning of the movie, and they both go through they part ways, because they have to, because he goes into the war and she stays back and minds the farm, and they're all this time they have pictures of each other, and they have this. They're kind of like in love with each other, but they don't really realize that towards the end of the movie, and they finally get back together, and he gets killed. What? What the hell is that all about? They have sex one time, and then right when they get back together, and then he gets killed the next day. What? Oh, come on. What kind of movie is that? Ruin the fun. Whatever. So anyhow, that was an interesting movie. So that took from place back in the 1800s or whatever. So it was interesting. Now, Kill the Messenger, based on a true movie, true story. Jeremy Renner, Mary Elizabeth Winstead, Rosemary DeWitt, Andy Garcia, Paz Vega. Wow, that was, the guy that I can't remember what his name was. The name of the actual guy, but that must have been really intense for this guy. He must, he seemed like a nice guy. He was a reporter, and all of a sudden he came upon this story, which was huge. And so now it was cheesy because, why didn't this guy take pictures? Well, I guess and this was back in the 80s, I guess, and there really wasn't any cell phones like there are today. But he could have took a camera, a little digital, a little, throwaway camera. He could have took that with him and took pictures. Why didn't he take pictures? That would have proven him his innocence. That would have confirmed his story. And then he got torn apart at the end, and then come to find out later on, he's actually murdered. And they said that he committed suicide, but I went in and checked in, and I was sure that he was murdered. Maybe by the CIA, I don't know. It's undetermined. But when you shoot, they said that he died of two bullet shots in the head. I mean, if somebody's going to commit suicide, they can shoot one shot, but by then they're dead, right? They're already falling onto the ground or whatever. I don't know how he shot his head, but and if you shot his head this way, you could only shoot one shot if you're committing suicide, or even in the mouth. You can only shoot one shot, and then it's done. You're over. It's over. But to get two shots in the head and be committing suicide, that seems a little bit improbable. So again, was it suicide? Really? Whatever. So anyhow, now the last, it's a television series that I want to review. It's called Dating Around. Now, that was kind of interesting. There was, I didn't watch all of them. There was 6 episodes and 1 season. And it started out with a guy. What it was, this guy went out with 5 different women, and blind dates. They come out of the woodwork and they date this guy. He's in his I don't know, 20s, maybe early 30s, late 20s, but he's a casual guy, and he seemed to be very how would you say, easygoing kind of guy, I guess. And the women that he went out with was a pretty good selection of variety of type. And the girl that I thought, the blonde, the first one he went out with, I think, I can't remember her name, but anyhow, she was a blonde. I figured that she would be the one that he would pick. And the thing was that she was kind of busy. How would you say? Beating herself up. She was probably a Virgo, I bet. Had Virgo blood, because Virgos tend to beat themselves up on if they got nothing better else to do and they don't got anything good going on in their life, they'll beat themselves up. So she was kind of doing that, and she seemed to be a negative, like down on herself, and so, but she was also kind of chirpy and how would you say, she was kind of uppity, I guess. And so she was kind of funny, and I don't know, she had a nice presence, nice smile, nice eyes. And so he picked her in the very end. But he went out with 4 other women, and I don't know, he was really good with it, conversational wise. He seemed to be carrying himself pretty well. He didn't really uh, I don't know what's the word. He didn't really beat up the women, or he wasn't obnoxious or rude to them. I don't think. At least I don't remember him being rude to them. So that was the first show episode, and and it was kind of slow, I guess, in a way, but it was what it was. So and then the next episode, they had this woman. I can't remember if she's out of Chicago or New York, but I don't know. One of the guys was really rude to her. I mean, and it was interesting because he was talking about penetrating her with his penis. Twice he made a couple of jokes about that, and she didn't like that. She goes, "Oh, I got a headache. I got to get up in the morning. I'll see you later. Bye." It took off, left them hanging there. Now, on the other hand, this woman was I don't know. She seemed like a freak to me, like a sex freak or something. I don't know what, but she's not the type of woman that I would have hung around with to the end. In fact, one of the guys did. He left her hanging, man, because they went to dinner. They talked, and first they had a few drinks, and then they went, sat down, had some dinner, and then if they were getting along well enough, they'd go to somewhere else and have drinks somewhere else, right? So she did with this one guy, and she kept telling him he was cute, and she was really vibing on him, and at the very end, he goes, "Oh, thanks. I'll see you later. Good night," and leaves. Right, leaves her hanging. And she goes, "Man, I'm going to go home and masturbate." Literally, she says this, right, quote unquote. And and that pretty much confirmed to me that this woman was, and I don't know that that's a bad thing, but she should, just her energy, her attitude, just wouldn't be someone that I would want to stick around for. Yeah, either I would have been that guy, and then see you later, good night, and I would have been leaving. But that's besides the point. So anyhow, the next episode had to do with some guy dating other guys. He was a gay guy, and I didn't even bother with that because I'm into women. So do I want to know how to date another guy? No. See you later, bye. And I didn't even bother with that episode. And then there was another guy he was an older guy, and he was dating, all the women seemed like they're really homely women that don't take care of themselves. I don't know, just it just didn't seem like my cup of tea to watch that type of dynamics or that type of conversation going on. I don't know what they're going to talk about, what they talked about, but I didn't bother with that one either. And then the the next episode that I watched. Oh, let me see. There were 6 episodes altogether, and I you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I can't remember what the 5th one was, but the very last one was a woman. Was a woman that was a lesbian going out with other women. So that was kind of interesting because she went out with 5 women, and a couple of them were pretty cute. You wouldn't even think they were lesbians. Well, one of them actually was a bisexual woman, and all of them seemed feminine, except for one woman that seemed like a dyke or a masculine woman. And I thought it was interesting because that dyke, that masculine woman, made a joke, also made a sexual innuendo, like the first guy, except she didn't make a joke about penetrating her with his penis. She made a joke about her body being wet. So it was interesting that it was still a sexual innuendo, yet it was from a different perspective, and yet the lesbian woman didn't mind at all. She didn't care at all. She was fine. And in fact, at the very end, she ended up going on a second. The whole idea is that whoever that person likes, they go on a second date with whoever they choose, and so as long as they choose her back as well. But she ended up going on a second date with the masculine woman. So that was interesting that she also made that sexual remark, yet it was okay with her, and yet, but it had nothing to do with penetration. It had to do with the body's secretion and liberation. I guess I don't know. So anyhow, um, one girl she went out with a bisexual Asian woman, and she was actually cute, but she wasn't into her. And then another woman, I don't know, she went out with so many of other women, and but the language and the conversations were so much different with that group of people than all the rest of the other episodes. So that was very interesting to see that. So anyhow, that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. I'm not sure what else. The movie that I really want to watch, that I haven't watched yet. It was supposed to have come out in December. The Transformers. There was a baby Transformer. I don't know, but there was a Transformer movie that came out in December of last year, and I don't even know if it even came to Flagstaff or not. I haven't seen it around, so I don't know. It is what it is. So anyhow, now this national emergency with Trump, I don't know what's going to happen because I think they're supposed to be declaring this a state of emergency. I don't know if they're saying national emergency, but I think it's a state of emergency. So anyhow, I don't know what's going to come of all this, but I remember talking about this in the prediction show, and I said February was going to be very turbulent, and so far it seems a little bit calmer than usual maybe. But come Monday, we're going to see we're gonna see what's gonna happen and how turbulent this is gonna get. So I don't know that this is gonna be a very nice month, but we'll find out. And again, this is gonna go on through the first week of March, and then I believe Uranus is gonna go into Taurus. And when that happens, then there's gonna be a big shift, and then things are gonna be different come the second week of March. So yeah, see all this stuff. Have a God Goddess weekend. Be the love that you are, always have been, and always will be. Aloha. And by the way, again, if you guys have any questions, you want to do reading, you want to do, if you want to do some hypnosis, get a hold of me. I'm interested in getting some practice on that. Aloha.